Okay, so I'm just going to start the team call. But tonight I'm just going to discuss with you guys the upcoming months. So, Julia, when did you started in November, correct? And I think April, you were November or December?
January.
Was it January? Okay.
Well, I got my challenge pack in November, but then I started as a coach in January.
Okay. So I'm going to just talk about, so the next couple of months are actually going to be really hard. And when I first found out that the fall was like the hardest part of coaching, I was kind of like annoyed. But after I got through it, I realized that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because I still made Success Club. But for the upcoming months, starting this month, it's going to really slow down. Probably the slowest month will be November and December, because everyone's trying to buy gifts for other people, and you would think that it wouldn't be as slow, but a lot of people don't like to spend money on themselves because they want to just blow it on and everyone else and try to, with the kids and everything. So the best advice that I can give you guys to, make sure that you hit Success Club this fall and going into November and December is to make sure that you really reach out to people constantly, and make sure that you're adding at least 10 people a day. And I'm saying this because if you were to add 10 people a day times that by 70, you're going to get a lot of people from now until January. So you could have potentially 1,000 people in your network now where they're constantly watching you. So that's going to really, plant the seed with people. So it's really huge for you guys to just continue to reach out to people and continue to tell your story, because that's just going to be, people are going to understand where you're coming from, and you're not just like throwing yourself out there and being like, hey, you want to buy this from me? So if you make your post more personable and you reach out to them in a genuine way and just to start a friendship, not to sell anything now, they are going to be more interested with the months coming ahead, because a lot of people do put on 10, 15 pounds during the holiday, because it's really, the holidays are really hard. And I mean, me and Audrey last year, we did it for a reason. We decided to do Insanity Max during the Christmas time, and that was so hard to do because there was at work, there was constantly cookies and ice cream and pizza parties and all this stuff going on, and that didn't even include like what was going on outside of work. Friends were having parties, you had to go to your own family parties and stuff like that. So it can become really hard when you want to just, give in and have that cookie or have that big meal that your family's making. But so you have to be strong for yourself and also for other people, and you have to just show that to people that, you're human, you are going to make mistakes, but you also want to teach them that you can commit to it now. And so it's going to be easier for the months ahead. And let me just look at my notes. What I did last year is I ran my first challenge group. I think it was the first week of August, and it was called Fall Forward. And so instead of people, taking a step back and, putting on that weight, putting on the sweatshirt and the hoodie, all of that, hiding behind something, I really encourage people to step out of their comfort zone and to try different recipes with the crock pot, try, when it's nice out, start going for walks, stuff like that. Like that's what a lot of my posts were about. And that really seemed to catch people's attention. And I did actually a lot of recipes with the crock pot, and that was like a huge hit. For me, I don't know if you guys know, but when I cook, I don't use like the spices that you see in the store that are already pre-made and they have salt in it. I can't do that because of my kidneys. So everything that I make it's all plain Jane, but you can make it taste really good. So like tonight I decided to do a stir fry, but it's so simple, but it's really good if you have the right ingredients. Like I did a stir fry, just vegetables, olive oil, Himalayan salt, and pepper. And you kind of like, if you think about it, you're like, that's not really that tasty. But if you have, I don't know if you guys have tried it, but the pink Himalayan salt is really good, and it has like a better taste to it than the regular salt that you would see at the, like when you go out to dinner. That kind of salt is completely different. So you have to find like the right spices to make your food. So if you try to take anything, like whatever's your favorite meal, and try to make it healthy and do it in a crock pot, people are going to love it, because during the holiday season, people don't have time to make food. So if they can put something in some big, thing and just dump everything in there and just let it sit for hours, I mean, it's a lifesaver for people. And plus, you can make it super healthy. And some ideas for you guys would be like, so plan your months accordingly. So this month I'm going to talk about probably, still staying active for those people who aren't involved in a fitness program, taking walks outside, 20-minute walks, doing anything that they can, even when the weather isn't that nice. I'm going to try to put together like an ab routine for people. And what was the other thing I wanted to do? Oh no. We can also encourage people to let them know that there's a yoga retreat that is going on right now with Beachbody On Demand, and it's free. So that's like another thing that people, if some of them might be overweight and self-conscious and don't want to, go to an actual yoga studio, they can try that at home for 3 weeks, and that would be a good option for them. You could have topics about like how to survive the holiday season, or get ready for the holiday season, fight belly pudge. Like you could just think of all the names that you would see like on the front of a magazine, those titles, and that's what you're gonna try to make your posts about and catch people's attention, because people, you guys know, like fast results. They want instant gratification, but if you can use good wording with your topic, you're gonna really grab their attention. Like I said, plant the seed now for January, because once Christmas ends, people are like, oh my God, I need to lose weight, and they're crazy. So I'm planning on doing the ultimate reset in January, which I'm really scared about. And that's for a reason. I'm not going to do it during the Christmas time because that's just crazy. And I don't think a lot of people will be really paying attention with the ultimate reset in Christmas time. So I think I'll do it after in January. And that's for, oh yeah, you too, April. I think Audrey's going to do it too. I'm like really scared for it. But Audrey had awesome results. I was really impressed. And then another thing to just touch on is, so as you're going along, I don't know if you guys have made your story yet of like why you started getting, healthy. I want you guys to kind of create your story again and reevaluate yourself. And yeah, just reevaluate your story, and really it can be like, I don't know, it can be 2-3 paragraphs of why you decided to change your life. What is it that you want to change, and what's your future goals? And if you really get down pat with your transformation. I know April has done a really good job with her transformation. If you can keep that going, then, I mean, if you keep sharing that every Monday and Tuesday and maybe even a Friday night, that's going to like really catch people's attention, because I find that people are most interested Monday, Tuesday nights, Friday nights around 9:30 because they're all at the bar. And then people are interested from 8 to 11 p.m. on Sunday night. That's when, that's just for me. But if you think about it, when's the majority of your time spent online before you go to bed? When do you usually have guilt? Sunday night. When do you think about changing your life? Friday, when you're like, I need to get home, I need a drink, I hate this job. That's the stuff that you kind of have to think about. Usually, and like, I've noticed this, and I've said it to Dan, and he's like, well, obviously. And I'm like, well, I didn't really think of it, but I've been doing it a lot for the past couple of weeks. People are really happy Friday afternoon from 2 to 4 because they're on their way home from work. So the most input that I ever get is from Friday from like 2:30 to 4. And what I've been doing is asking people a simple question for their like opinion. Like it goes crazy. Like, what was last week question? What was it? I forget what it was, but like it just kept going and going and going. You could ask them like, oh, I know what it was. I asked them, how much do you spend on groceries? Okay, people I've never seen like on my Facebook. I mean, I must have friend requested them like months ago, but I didn't even know they were still looking at my stuff. That's how crazy it is. So if you guys just kind of think outside the box and just ask like random questions, like I was curious to know how much people usually spend. I've asked other questions before, like what type of hairstyle should I do? Or how many times a week do people weigh themselves? Like stuff that like people just like to give their opinion, plain and simple. People are like, yeah, I'm better. I'm going to tell you my answer. So, I mean, try to just like, I don't know, plan ahead. There's so many like different areas you guys can go with this. It just all depends. You have to find what works for you. But yeah, the fall is hard, but if you guys continue to add people and just continue to reach out to them, talk to them, comment on their stuff, and you know, still give your transformation story, people are going to be hooked, especially when you do the crock pot stuff, because that people love food, especially if it's easy. So, do you guys have any questions?
I was gonna say something. I asked about hair products like a week ago, and I got over 50 comments.
Coconut oil. Yeah.
And I actually had people I don't talk to messaging me. So that was good to like build conversation with them.
Exactly.
And so that worked good. And then the other question I had is, anyone ever made like soup in a crock pot? Because I want to make soup.
I've actually never done that. I've done it on the stove. But when I make soup, I just do water and then the sodium-free, like powder mix.
Yeah.
And then I do like Mrs. Dash. I throw everything in it. And
okay,
it tastes good, so. But yeah, people love soup. I think Candace made one recently. I forget what it was. It was something different. Not like a pea soup, but it was something different. But do you have a particular recipe that you like to make with soup?
I usually like Italian wedding soup.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's something I could just ask on Facebook. People
Yeah.
love food.
Yeah, and like whatever question you ask, and you hear like people's responses, kind of take that into consideration of what to do for your next post. Like, because I asked that question of how much do people spend on their groceries, now I can kind of think, well, how do I break this down? So maybe like the next post I could make is break down, like have one full meal and say, this is what this cost. I mean, so that they can see it into consideration. I don't know where I'm getting at this, but I'll be able to figure it out. But you can, people like to know smaller numbers versus a lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you don't tell people, oh, it's $4.33 or whatever it is for Shakeology. I mean, 100. You don't say 140 or 130. You say either $4 or $3 less, but you explain to them first. Because any person that hears that the Shakeology is $130 is going to be like, see ya. But then once you ask them, well, how much do you spend on lunch at work? They're going to be like $8. Okay, 8 times 5, what's that? You know what I mean? So you have to break it down for people. So, any other questions? No?
Nope.
April, you could do some like good recipes for like football.
Oh yeah, I could.
You could get all the women involved. Like I know because I made the other day the cauliflower Alfredo, but I also made the cauliflower I think it's Cholula, the hot sauce. So it was like buffalo dip. Okay, it was really good. And even Dan liked it. So I think that's going to be a hit. Because he was like freaked out that it was cauliflower. He was like, what do you mean? But you can create a lot of good recipes. Healthy ones. That will still get the boys excited for. You just have to be secret about it. But yeah, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to hop off.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, and have a good night, you guys.
You too. Bye.
Bye.